test. And welcome back to the Everyman Guys. Still don't have a graphic, but welcome back anyway.
Well,
You know?
and you
All
are.
day. And I am Jim.
That must mean that I'm Will.
Because we're the Everyman Guys.
They're the only two ones.
We've
so I
been
gotta
the only
be
two
the
ones.
other one.
If we're not on here, it's not the Everyman Guys.
And this is Jern.
And this is Jern. She's right here. She is right
Welcome.
there. For not long, I don't think.
Yeah, truthfully.
Welcome back. This is episode, what, 25?
6.
26.
25.
25 is releasing tomorrow. Which, by the way,
Update.
before anything, shut it. Before anything,
I know what you're going to say.
May the 4th be with you.
Oh,
Today is
because-
Friday.
Because
Or
today
Thursday.
is
May the 4th.
Because of Star Wars and science, but
yes.
mostly
Star Wars and
math
science.
and Star Wars.
Yes. So we have some things to go over first. These are not
Yeah.
intro notes. These are things to go over.
These are like
Or should we hit them at the end?
understood. No, I would do it at the beginning.
Do it at the beginning. Okay. Number one understood thing. We have completed a script. I have.
Yeah, we did.
For a skit that'll be coming in the weeks to come. It's ready to go. We're going to
Yes.
film as
Wait.
soon as we can.
Why did we complete a script?
We and Will are trying this new thing where Will shuts the frick up and lets me write. Just kidding.
No, I was actually the encourager.
Yes, he was. So he's going to edit every night and make a point to, and I am
Every
going
single
to be
day.
writing every single day.
day.
Night.
And
evening.
reason being is so that we can focus more on our skits
Yes.
and short films.
So that
For
means
y'all?
that brings us to the bad news. We are.
Science isn't real. No. And math
That wasn't even my
is
bad news.
Inevitable.
Oh man, that's going to take a minute, but moving past that.
Let's fast forward.
What?
I know.
Okay, we are moving to one episode per week. I just figured I'd rip the Band-Aid off quick.
But
skits will be coming and short videos will be coming in place.
if all goes as
Accords to plans.
ideally as possible,
Which should
we'll have a podcast and a skit maybe every other week, or
maybe
sometimes we might. It just depends on how long the
depends.
skit is.
yes.
Because I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, well,
One we have written is maybe a minute
yeah.
tops.
So like, if you
Tops.
can, and the reason it works is because if you can write
Yeah.
every single day, that means you're producing stuff probably
All the
every
time.
2 days.
I agree.
Then
we
that
move
means
this
we
closer?
can be shooting.
I think we can.
That means we can be shooting and editing skits every week too.
Yes.
Because it's going to kind of be like an overlap situation, and then start posting. But yeah, really the only way that we really thought that it would work to start incorporating the skits is if we take it just one podcast per week.
Yes.
Because I mean, we're adding stuff on without really taking anything away to make room for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we did originally, and
Exactly.
it just was like, when do we have time
And
for
for
it?
the time of year it is, it's very hard because we just have so many things going on. It's a busy time of the year. I mean, come fall and winter, probably not, because winter brings its own Christmas and Thanksgiving and its
Yeah.
own busyness. But when it
that's
gets to
usually
January,
weekends, though.
we're super free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't have a ton going on. So maybe by then, we're doing this full time. We don't know.
We don't. They don't know.
They don't know.
He doesn't know.
You can't tell us that we're
I know.
not.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
Freaking guy. So that probably means a sacrifice of the Tuesday show most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I already updated our Instagram bio to say every Monday morning, because if
New
we
episodes every Monday.
because if we do Monday,
we have
then
not
that
discussed
means
this
we
yet.
film on Thursday. I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to edit, and then that leaves Tuesday open for us to either discuss or shoot a skit. And then after we shoot the skit, I have Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, say, because usually the podcasts don't take more than a day to edit, more than even a half hour to edit.
Right.
So I thought Monday made the most sense.
Okay.
It was like really the best situation.
Yeah, that
so
works.
that's where we're at. But
That works for me.
also the reason behind the original reason behind editing and writing every day was just kind of getting into the habit of like, if this is like, we're putting everything we have into this.
Yes.
So we're trying to build a habit of prioritizing it. So
Right.
the only way that I could really think of that is like, okay, well, aside from shooting a podcast every week, what really is us committing? Like,
Right.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like committing is at least working on it every single day. Like you
Right.
commit to your job, you go into work for 8 hours every day. So
Yeah, definitely.
if this is like we're trying to make this work, so
Yeah.
committing to it every day might mean I'm currently trying out a new theory/system that I learned from Atomic Habits, where I limit my time of editing to I'm doing 20 minutes because like for editing, like it's going to take longer than that.
Right.
But I'm limiting myself to 20 minutes and then cutting it off there, because what I was reading was that it's hugely beneficial to work to a point where you never reach burnout and then cut yourself off. I mean, you could start adding on more time if you realize like, all right, I want to start adding on and actually like get into this project.
Right.
But if it's something like this where it's like we don't really have a deadline necessarily.
Right.
So I'm trying it out and it's been great. Like actually holding myself to a time limit. I'm like really looking forward to getting back on.
Yeah.
So that's like really working for me right now.
Right. Told you she wouldn't last long.
Yeah.
So you can come to me now. Yeah. So that's pretty much that's our goal, and we're getting there.
Yeah. How's the writing been going?
It's been going good. I told you I already have one written. They've already seen it.
Which I was gonna say I read the one that was awesome.
And I already have one that's being written right now that is currently maybe not longer, probably a short one.
Yeah. And the
like
good news
30
is the
seconds.
ideas are going to be like pumping through like every single day.
Yes. And when we start shooting them, if they're super easy to shoot,
And
we'll be giving more of them.
Yeah.
So, we're just trying to figure out what we can do and filling our time with the best we can do.
you know what I love?
Not just
also?
putting content out there. We're filling the content. We're filling our space with
Exactly.
good content.
And what I love also is that it's like, how do you get better at anything? You practice it. You practice it, and it's consistency. Consistency is the number one way to get better. And like you being passionate about writing, me being passionate about filmmaking is like, we're doing it every day. So we're going to start hammering out these short form videos that is going to grow our skills to a point to where we can do short films that we're truly passionate about and can actually
And that was our discussion.
Give everything that we have to it.
That was our discussion about putting pause on our short films and doing the podcast full time with full creative time. After work time.
Basically focusing every bit of our creative
exactly.
Availability towards the podcast and the show. You're going to say about her chewing.
Really loud.
I can get her a different toy, maybe.
It's fine. As long as they're not distracted.
Yeah. If you hear crunching, it's Journey with her toy. Jern,
Chill out.
Jern, relax.
So that takes up two of my intro notes. I have a few intro notes. Just
Listen.
This is my episode to do it. So
This is our podcast, so we can talk about whatever we want. Even
first
if
of
he
all,
says we can't, then I hate that.
and she.
I hate that guy.
They do. Been super busy with work. That's just a note.
Explain.
It's not really.
Listen, I don't like
moving.
bland comments.
Okay.
Just tell me about it. I want to know.
That actually works because one of my intro notes is about a spice.
A spice.
Get ready for it. Prepare.
Oh my gosh.
Prepare.
I don't know if we have time for it.
We have been rearranging our shop, getting a little bit bigger, getting a new section of our shop. I work in a cabinet shop, where like a new part of the building that we rent. So we've been moving, and I've been working very long hours.
I was gonna say
whilst doing such things.
Tuesday
I worked 11 hours. So it's been a lot, but it's been worth it because there's a ton of room. Also, that bone is so loud, and she just got it up against the wall.
You keep going. I'm gonna get there.
So it's been fun. It's not been fun, but it's been nice, and we're clearing a lot of space, and we're our work situation, our work life, is gonna be so much better because of this change. So, so it's been it's been well worth it, but it's just been a lot. So I've been really busy. I've been exhausted. That's why we didn't film on Tuesday, but I wrote on Tuesday, so I could just stay home because I have to come to Will's house, and it's not like it's not very far, but it's not close either. So I have to travel there back and forth, so it's hard to do on twice a week. And with work being the way it is right now, I just got to kind of do it. So I wrote on Tuesday and Will edited, and that was nice. But that's been work.
Which I kind of knew already for the most part, but
right. And moving on.
Speaking of work's been really good lately, and a lot of it has to do with all this week. I took my phone and put it across the office, like say opposite of me,
right?
Because like I wouldn't say I wasted a lot of time on my phone at work, but it can definitely be a distraction. You're either just like thinking about it, or like you pick it up for 5 minutes and you're just like doing whatever on it.
Yeah.
Or you get to a challenging part at work and you're like, oh, let me just open my phone.
Yeah.
And I set my phone across the room for all of this week. Never felt better at work. Like I feel better about myself leaving work. Like I actually did everything that I was capable of doing.
Right.
And I did the best that I could do.
Yeah,
and
that's a good idea.
I knew that I wasn't wasting time at any point throughout the day. If I didn't get done as much as I wanted to get done, I knew that it was for an actual legitimate reason.
Right.
It wasn't just like,
time.
okay, well, where was I wasting time?
Yeah.
Could I have not wasted time? It's like, no, I literally didn't have an option to waste time because my phone was the only thing that caused me to waste time. So
Waste time, right?
I did that, and I've been feeling great. This week has been really good with work. So
That's awesome. Very good. I'm very happy to hear it.
Thanks. I just need to get it off my chest.
Speaking of work and putting in work, I downloaded a new game that I've played before. That
I thought you were going to say you've been going to the gym.
I have been, not as consistently as I want to, but I have been. I've been making progress. I've been losing weight.
That's good.
I told you last week, right? I told it. Well, it'll be coming out tomorrow, but I've been losing weight.
That's good. I'm glad.
Well, in this case, last Friday. But speaking of Friday.
Oh my gosh, you are all over the place.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I re-downloaded Fortnite.
I have to go get you.
Yeah, exactly. And here's my note.
Why?
And gaming in general. They're doing a promotion with Star Wars where you can get a lightsaber.
I would have thought you would hate that.
I do. But here's the thing. When I first played Fortnite, it was back when Fortnite was becoming a big thing.
Okay.
It wasn't just a child's wet dream. And I did not like it. I didn't care for it. Like the game itself.
Same. I gave it a chance. I just didn't like it.
Exactly. I didn't love it. It is very much so different, and I actually enjoyed it. I've been enjoying it. I played like 4 or 5 matches. I've enjoyed it.
Are you watching Ninja on Twitch now?
Oh, no. Shoot me now. No, I'm not like hardcore. Like I played like a match today before I came here, and then I played some Warzone. And I was like,
fight with a 12-year-old boy.
I did not. I don't even have my mic on. That is the dumbest thing.
I'm sorry. I have like a few more left.
It's fine. It's fine. I think the thing with Fortnite is it wouldn't be as popular as it is if it wasn't changing, and it's changed, and it's actually enjoyable. Like I would play with you online or whatever. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and listen, I don't love the but honestly though, it's pretty cool. If I would have thought as a kid, like the promotions and stuff, like the cynical part of me is like, oh, they're just using it, and people are gonna go, that's the Fortnite thing. It's like, no, it's Star Wars, or it's, you know what I mean? But yeah. It is pretty cool how they implement it. And as a kid, if I would have thought, dude, you're gonna play a game where you can use a lightsaber and you know what I mean, and like, it's a pretty cool idea.
I think it's cool that you're playing little kid games. Like you can play whatever you want. I think that's good.
It's not a little kid.
I might have one more left.
It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite game in the world. It's
like
just
a little while ago that they did like a like a Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you do it's not something that I'm going to play a ton. I'm not going to get super into it. I'm not going to win a single game.
I view it as
It's
like
just
you have
something
to
I'm
be
gonna jump
really
in.
committed to play it.
Yeah, it's
And like
it's pretty,
I'm not, so
it's not easy,
like with really any games.
It's not easy, but like I survived to the top 10
Yeah.
pretty much every time.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not that hard to survive.
Well, when
2
you're
minutes.
playing with like 5 and 6 year olds, like it's probably not that hard. That was
So
the last
judgmental. It is not the last one.
That was the last
But before that, and more than that, I just did that last night. I literally reinstalled it last night and just tried it. More than that, I've been replaying Ghost of Tsushima.
which you've been telling me about. The video you sent me was gorgeous.
It is so gorgeous. It's such a good story. It is such a great the gameplay. I upped the difficulty this time. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. It's one of my. It's probably my second favorite game.
Second to
Red Dead Redemption
2. I know. It looks amazing every time you show me clips of it.
Graphics are
But
so good. Also, remember that game Chivalry?
yes.
I reinstalled that. and
That was
tested it.
so difficult.
That was
It was so difficult.
I agree.
I was like, I don't know if I can.
And I
commit
uninstalled
to
it,
this.
and then I reinstalled it, and it was like riding a bike. I just got it, and I have some videos to show you. It was pretty intense. It was pretty awesome.
So
so
video
yeah.
games a lot. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, when I can.
What about the Star Wars?
Battlefront.
No.
Oh, I haven't gotten it yet. Well, it's $80.
Oh,
It's
true.
it's a
Because it's
it
a
is it is an
PS5.
investment. No, well, it's
That's
even
true.
on Xbox. It's
Well, you're
an
getting it for
investment.
PS5, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah. Like I said, I still feel like I want to play the last one before I play the
Yeah.
new one
Yeah.
because it was good. I just didn't have time for it.
Right,
I also
exactly.
still need to play Hogwarts Legacy for like
Yeah, I
more
haven't
than
finished that.
2 hours.
Hogwarts Legacy I just kind of ran out of steam on. It's not a
Yeah.
really like story
It's like-
implemented game.
I feel like you're gonna get back into it in like a month
definitely.
or 2 months or however long down the road, and then play it forever.
Yeah, I'm also trying a thing where I don't need to buy it right away. So I don't need to buy Jedi Survivor right now because I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima and I'm
Yeah.
enjoying that. So I'm just going to play that. And then
Because
when
it's
I'm
always
like,
gonna be there.
Yeah.
Odds are it's gonna go on sale, and then
Exactly.
you'll be able to get it even cheaper anyway.
exactly. And then when I'm like, oh yeah, that's not that I'm forgetting about it because I really want to play it.
Yeah.
But when I'm like, okay, yeah, now I can because I need to be able to like when I get a new game, it's what I play.
I know.
Until it's done,
You know
except
what's
for
the,
Hogwarts.
You know what's the best thing
But I
ever?
put like 30 hours.
Is
on.
like when you're bored playing a game, so you just scroll through the game store and then you buy a game
Yeah,
and play it for 10 minutes, and then that's it.
And then you go back to. I've done it.
It's like, nope,
you go back to the game
never
you were
play
playing. You're
again.
like, you know what? I don't feel like not playing that right now. I just didn't want to play it at that second.
It's so true, and it happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's my gaming right now. It's been
I've
experimental.
had a severe lack in gaming,
Yeah, the only thing we've really played together has been
Battlefront 2,
which so
we'll
fun.
probably play this weekend.
Probably. Speaking of this weekend, tomorrow. So last Friday,
We
We
would
are-
have gone to
we are going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3
Guardians of
of
the
the Galaxy.
Galaxy.
3
Trace.
I am so excited for this movie.
Me
So
too.
excited.
Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion, is
the best of Marvel.
series in Marvel.
Trilogy. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's
Besides the two
like-
Avengers movies, the last two, Infinity War and Endgame, I think it's my favorite series.
it's
Those
very
two
good.
films are so good.
Of all the Marvel, it's
The second one's not as good as the first one, I don't think, but I think it's still better than a lot we've got. And I've heard that this is the best Marvel movie we've had since Endgame,
really.
even better than Homecoming, which
I'm
I
not
loved.
surprised.
Not Homecoming. No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Which I like No Way Home a lot, but I'm more of a fan of the Guardians than I am of Spider-Man, so I'm way more excited for this.
I didn't even know that you
this
really
movie.
compare them.
I don't
in
think
my
so.
opinion, it's kind of like, I mean, obviously
Apples
you have
and
the
oranges.
Iron Man situation,
Yeah.
but like Spider-Man is like kind of solo.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy, you have like a whole cast of
Yeah, a whole Guardians
main
of
characters.
the galaxy.
So,
So
that's
yeah,
cool.
very excited about that. My last intro note is this. This is very random. It's not along the lines of
Ooh.
everything else.
We like random.
Is cinnamon good or what?
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon.
Yes, it's good. Paula
Okay.
doesn't like cinnamon.
Okay, it's good on some things. I love cinnamon, and then I try other things, and I'm like,
I need an
cinnamon is the
example.
least. So example, I love cinnamon rolls, right?
Cinnamon. I'm allergic to cinnamon.
Cinnamon rolls are the best, right? So then
correct.
cookies were brought into work.
But
and it was a cinnamon cookie that kind of tasted like a regular cinnamon cookie. You would expect, and it wasn't good.
No, I don't doubt it.
And
I don't doubt it.
I'll have like a snickerdoodle once, and I'll be like, "Oh, that was pretty good." And then I'll have one like 2 weeks later. I'm like, "That was disgusting." I don't understand.
Are there different kinds of cinnamon? Is that a dumb question?
I don't know.
Because there's sometimes when cinnamon is like
cinnamony drinks,
like
I don't
a
like it
cinnamon
all.
cookie. I totally knew you were gonna say that, and I do not like cinnamon cookies.
And it's like,
I think it's because you expect something other than cinnamon.
Here's the thing, though. It's not that I don't like the cookie. It just has cinnamon. I don't like the cinnamon on the cookie.
Maybe take the cinnamon out of the cookie and I'll eat it.
Well, when I eat other things, I'm like, oh, the cinnamon makes it.
Yeah. No.
When other things, it's like cinnamon's disgusting. I don't know.
I want to say it's because of the amount that's in it. Because a cinnamon cookie is like the only reason you're eating it is because it's cinnamon. Right. But if you eat like say what's the thing that you see?
Cinnabons?
Yeah, like a Cinnabon.
Yeah. Cinnabons are amazing.
Cinnamon is a part of that. It's not all of it, right?
Yeah, but it's like
so you have like
literally
the icing,
called a cinnamon roll or a Cinnabon.
It's
literally
so
cinnamon.
Because cinnamon's in it, but I think that's what
cinnamon
it is.
is the main character.
But
cinnamon.
I know Paula doesn't like cinnamon, like in anything.
Yeah, I'd rather love it or dislike it. It's so in the middle because now I'm like, well, I don't want to get anything cinnamony because I might love it or hate it.
That's an interesting point because I totally agree. I do not like cinnamon cookies.
Yeah,
I agree, but I do like cinnamon. If I do overnight oats, which I've been doing half this week just to kind of switch up my breakfast. I'll do cinnamon in the overnight oats.
Right.
Journey, stop it. Hey, stop. No, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Jen, do you like cinnamon? She's like, no, I like to lick my
everything.
foot. Yeah, that was just. I just sound off in the comments. Is cinnamon good? Is it not good? Or is it so in between that you don't know? Because I don't know. I don't know.
Some people are like very set in their ways. Like, no, cinnamon is not good.
Yeah, and other people are
not.
Not. Exactly.
Main topic. Which
the
playoffs
of NBA and the NHL.
NBA.
I have introduced all these other intro topics, so you can go.
Okay, first thing I'll say is that the Lakers, completely shocking.
I saw that they won.
Completely shocking to me. Well, here's the thing. They made like a last minute trade right before the playoffs, and they were listen, I did not follow the Lakers all season long. Like I'm not a Lakers fan, but they were not
I thought you were
at the caliber that they are at currently. Not even close all season long.
Yeah,
and then they made the trade. They got D'Angelo Russell, and now all of a sudden in the playoffs they're just dominant. And like I know it's like LeBron, obviously. So as soon as he gets in the playoffs, there's a solid chance they're gonna make things happen. But they've been very good, shockingly. And like
good.
I know you don't pay attention to basketball as much, but
not so much. I know I keep up with it like minorly.
But
I know what's kind of going on.
That was just one point that I wanted to make. That's
awesome.
Absolutely shocking. And
that's great.
You might say, well, they have LeBron, so of course they're going to do it. But just as a whole, overall, they're playing like very good team basketball, and it's just shocking. Like they just manhandled the Warriors.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
it's nice. It's good.
That's basically
you always want someone to manhandle the Warriors,
right?
Always,
just in general.
That's the rule of thumb. I have a question. Is this the best the NHL playoffs have been in a little bit? In like the last 3-4 years
or more. Because here's the deal. I've always watched like some.
Yeah.
But this year I'm like tuning in because I know it's on because it's been that good.
Yeah, I think it's been so it's always been good. But the last few years before like 2015, 2014, all those years to like 2017, 2018 from like 2010 to then, excellence. Because there was built up rivalries between all the teams that made it.
I think that's what it is,
and
honestly.
Then
is a lack of that.
And then it started to become where new teams were getting better and getting in there, and the older teams that always were in there started to fall out. But this year, the teams that have been playing and like playing against each other are kind of like they've kind of replaced those teams now, and they've seen each other, so they have a rivalry. And also, they're just like the matchups have just been, like New Jersey and the Rangers.
Yeah,
perfect series.
Yeah,
and they haven't been in the playoffs in forever, but such a good series because it's like they're already sworn enemies. And like Tampa and Toronto, they've been butting heads in the playoffs for years, and Boston and the Panthers, same deal. So like, and it's been so much fun to watch.
I think what you said, where you really nailed it on the head, was that the developing rivalries.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's 100% what it is. That's exactly how I feel about the NBA playoffs this year too.
Right.
Is like you had these teams that I think just needed to play each other several times in the playoffs to sort of build that rivalry.
Exactly.
And you can see it. You can feel the energy like that Tampa Bay Toronto series was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the Florida and Boston
series was so good.
Was amazing as well.
Good. I would say that the Edmonton and the LA Kings was the best West series. And that was that isn't so much as, I mean, it's a rivalry for sure because they're in the West, but it was so interesting to see the Kings back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been in for so long. And they didn't have Jonathan Quick, and then they're playing Connor freaking McDavid, who is the best player in the world. And it's like, okay, is Connor McDavid going to... So the storylines were so good for that. Even if it wasn't like the biggest rivalry of the first round, the storylines were so good in that series that it was like...
Speaking of Connor McDavid,
watch.
like I don't watch hockey the regular season. I used to, but I just can't get into it right now until the Flyers are good. But watching Connor McDavid is unreal.
He's unbelievable.
Like you obviously hear how good he is, and I feel like there's certain sports where, for example, you hear that LeBron is the best of all time, or you hear that he's the best player in the league.
Right.
A lot of times you can't see it.
Right.
Like you can't just watch one game and be like, okay, yeah, that's why he's the best. You might get lucky and he plays out of his mind.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, that's why he's the best.
Right.
But just seeing Connor McDavid just physically be present on the ice is, I'm like, holy cow. Because when I was really into hockey, that was Sidney Crosby.
Right, yeah.
And you could see it.
Oh, yeah.
You could see he's clearly the best player.
He's the best player.
Him, Alexander Ovechkin, and it's like Patrick Kane, like guys like that.
But you know what? It's funny, though, is that example of those guys that you said, McDavid and Crosby, there was such a level between those guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's McDavid, and then it's Draisaitl, McKinnon, Matthews, like they're all down here.
Yeah.
McDavid's up here. Crosby was up here. There was a clear distinct. Like there were people who were like, "Oh, I think Ovechkin's like." You weren't taking serious if you thought Ovechkin was better than Crosby.
You just liked Ovechkin more because he was like
he wasn't Crosby and he wasn't on the Penguins.
Sniper, goal scorer.
Exactly, but you knew deep down that Crosby's the best player in the world at that time. Totally. It's like LeBron. Like there's debate. Like Tom Brady, you kind of have to watch him and understand why he's great.
Exactly. That's a perfect example too.
But it's like with Shohei Ohtani. You watch him pitch and hit, and you just have to hear that he pitches and hits, and he's already like, okay. And then you watch him, and you're like, okay, I see why he's the best player. And Trout, if you watch Trout, you understand why he's the best player. But like LeBron or Tom Brady, it's like you really have to sit and understand what they're doing and understand the level that they're. You know what I mean? Like
totally. I mean, I feel like you have to understand the game.
Yes.
In those situations.
Exactly. Just watching Connor McDavid play hockey against everybody else, you're like, oh yeah, he's the best player in the world.
It's unbelievable because they're professional hockey players.
Yeah.
So they're the best of the best.
Yes.
And sometimes he looks like it's like high school to where like there is that one kid that can be just like levels above everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just honestly just
seeing
he got
him 150
skate.
points.
And I'm not like this huge Connor McDavid fan. I never even watch hockey, but just,
I'm not a big
just watching him like once.
You understand his
I was blown
skill.
away by you could just tell he was easily the most dominant player on the ice.
Exactly.
And he knew it. Like you could tell that he knows that he's the best.
Definitely. That's just been adding to the playoffs, him being in there.
The Tampa Bay Toronto series. So you're currently rocking the Tampa Bay
I'll turn it around
the Tampa Bay hat because You wanted the Lightning to win, thusly.
I am a big
They
Tampa
did
Bay
not.
fan.
I wanted the Leafs to win.
You did.
And solely because
they haven't won.
Yes.
In so many years. And I was happy for them. Watching like the fans react and everything, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I'm glad they won.
Yeah.
They finally got out of the first round.
And,
they're
like,
going to lose in the second round. But it's fine.
They're I don't know. I don't follow enough of hockey to develop players. To develop any players that I dislike. I will never cheer for Boston. I will never cheer for the Penguins. Yeah. And I will never cheer for the Rangers.
Or the Devils. Throw the Devils in there.
Yeah, but the Devils are like, to me, they were kind of like the Giants. It was like they were just kind of irrelevant.
Not really to us, though.
I mean, Flyers, we had like a couple series.
With Marty Brodeur. Marty Brodeur was a Flyer killer. He was like everybody killer, to be fair. But,
yeah, but not in the playoffs.
Yeah, 2012. 2012. After they beat the Penguins, they went and faced the Devils
that year.
Yeah, I just dislike them so. I think I dislike the Devils more than I dislike the Rangers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
hate the Rangers.
Not.
I hate the Rangers, but
you know what's funny though? It's literally just because they're the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils.
I think honestly,
it's location.
my thing with the Rangers is I think they're the Giants. They were terrible against them. 2008 to like 2015.
The Devils are like the Commanders, and the Rangers are like the Giants.
I feel like the Devils have beat us in bigger moments.
They're both from New York, but I just mean that's kind of the vibe.
I think the Devils have beat us in bigger moments than the Rangers have. Do you know what I mean? Like they've been spoiler to big moments more than the Rangers just always beat us.
The Devils weren't annoying.
Oh, the Rangers,
the Rangers were because I liked Brodeur.
I just hated the Rangers. The Devils, they were literally the devil.
Really,
they annoyed me so bad.
I never got that.
Yeah, I hated the Devils. I love Marty Brodeur.
I didn't feel like the Devils were a problem.
Marty Brodeur is my favorite goalie of all time.
I was a Luongo
Roberto
Luongo.
Yeah. He was really good. Oh man, we could just start talking about old hockey.
Old hockey.
I
mean, we already covered the old Flyers series.
Speaking of old hockey, did you see that Trouba hit on Timo Meier?
I saw a lot of hits because I was watching.
You would have remembered this one. He sent him to the upside down.
Was it the? I'm gonna sound like a noob, but there was. I forget what teams it was, but the captain of the one team, I believe it was the Rangers, because they were getting beat, right? And they knew they were going to lose.
Okay.
And it came across the middle and rocked someone, and he hit him up high. He made contact with his face.
Well, it might be the same play, but the Timo Meier play, he did make contact with his face, but also because he was leaning.
Oh, it might be
Meier was leaning.
Was it right at the blue line?
Yeah. He crossed the blue line with his head down. I
saw that hit.
If you're playing hockey for any reason and you cross the blue line with your head down.
Okay.
But I don't think it was malicious on Trouba because he didn't leave his feet. He just he sees him from 10 miles away. He knows his head is down.
Yeah.
He goes in for the check, and as you see it, as Meier crosses the blue line, his head is down.
Yeah.
His head is he's mid stride, and Trouba just steps in front of him.
That's fair.
Because here's why. Here's why I would say. Sorry, I don't.
No, go ahead.
Here's why I would say. When you see a guy leave their feet and they land.
That's a dirty hit.
Land.
Okay, I got you.
They land like they know that they made that hit. He hit him, and he was almost as shocked as he was.
He was rock solid
and fell the same way. He fell like when you leave your feet and you're like John Stevens used to do.
Yeah.
On the Devils, he would plant and destroy him, and he would be fine. You know what I mean?
It'd be kind of like a jumping motion.
Exactly. Remember Raffi Torres on Hossa? 2012, maybe 2013.
I would have to watch it.
The Arizona Coyotes. He went up high on Hossa.
I would have to be reminded.
Pretty much ended Hossa's. I guess not ended his career, but
I guess I'm so tuned to view hitting and dirty hits as the NFL. Because it was funny hearing the announcers talk about it because the announcers saying I don't think that's dirty hit, but and he was saying about his body went through the center of the other guy's body.
Yeah.
And I was like, true, but his shoulder just demolished his face. If that happened in the NFL, he would have gotten executed. But I don't know. It's definitely that.
In my opinion, it's not
because
a dirty hit.
I'm thinking it's the same deal as football, where it's like
Yeah,
if you
if
make
you're
contact at all
with their head, yeah.
his head literally like jolted back, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be a penalty. And
well, it didn't help because his head was down. Don't cross the blue line with your head down.
or really skate at any time
At any point with your head down in the playoffs. Also, he was mid stride with his head down. And you see, if you
and he's going in between two defenders.
Exactly. You don't see the zoomed out view. You can see Trouba. He's like, I'm gonna hit this guy.
Whose hit was it? It was
Trouba on Meyer.
Trouba on Meyer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna Google.
You can just type Trouba hit.
Trouba hit on Meyer.
It literally pops right up.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I saw seeing that live. Like he makes contact with his head, but
but I don't think it's purposeful.
It was kind of like also
incidental.
I didn't know if the refs would take into consideration like, okay, this is the end of the game, and like they know they're gonna lose
exactly.
And he just
also he's in another dimension anyway. Should we just leave it?
How did no one go up to him and like,
I don't know.
I guess it's because
it was kind of a quick play.
I guess also it was because I mean, if you're the Devils at that point, like you don't want to like
suspended.
do anything stupid going into the next into the next series where you're like kind of screw yourself over just because of one play that really in the grand scheme of the whole series didn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Curry is unbelievable.
Seth or Steph?
In this instance, it's the Steph variety.
It's the Steph variety
is unreal.
It's unreal. I know.
I would just say I was not a Curry fan when he first came onto the scene.
You tried it a little less spicy, and you're like, I like Curry now.
Yes. Oh, is that the spice? Just kidding. It was cinnamon. We don't have time for these jokes.
No.
Anyway,
Steph Curry.
Just
a beast.
That's just what I have to say. He's the best point guard I've ever seen play.
Yeah.
And obviously the best shooter of all time that I've ever seen. But just he's another one of those guys. He's another one of the Connor McDavids to where in his situation, his style of play, you can watch him and just be, I mean, yeah, obviously there's the off game, but when you're pulling up from 5 feet behind the line they're like, oh, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just
I'm not even a basketball fan, and I've looked up highlights of his, like him just draining threes. It's so insane.
He's just been truly unbelievable in the playoffs. And also, speaking of Curry, because of the just the last series that they won, the Kings, you said the Kings haven't made the NHL playoffs in a while. The Kings
Sacramento
made the
Kings,
playoffs.
right.
That was pretty awesome.
Right, yeah.
Like watching that series happen and just seeing, I mean, aside from De'Aaron Fox, I don't really, the Kings really mean nothing to me. I don't really care.
Right.
I'm not a Sabonis fan. Just because. You ever just not a fan of a player just because?
All the time.
That's kind of just, I just whatever. But
see Kachuk. Any Kachuk.
True.
I don't mind them. I'm just like,
yeah, that's fair. But anyway, like it's the same deal as the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just seeing a team just through pure, they don't have any absolute superstars. De'Aaron Fox, I wouldn't consider a superstar at this point. Right. They're just
He's just
all
an okay
around
star.
like solid team.
Yeah.
And
It's
they
always
haven't
fun
made the
seeing a team
playoffs
like
in
that.
forever, and it's just like, yes, I want to root for this team. Unfortunately, they lost, which I predicted, because the Warriors are the Warriors, and when you have that much experience in playing in the playoffs,
Warriors
it's
just gonna war.
Exactly. And when you have that much experience in the playoffs, the same deal as LeBron. Like as soon, all he has to do is get into the playoffs, and you know they're gonna do something.
Right. Yeah.
So the Warriors did something to the Kings, and now that's why they are playing the Lakers. And I believe that the Lakers are going to come out on top.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy
I knew that the
because
Lakers were like bad this year.
They were not good.
Yeah. And they did the play-in, right? They played in the play-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the play-in this year screwed over a couple teams.
Yeah.
Like the Bucks lost to the Heat, which is unbelievable.
I know you hate the Heat, but I would say my favorite NBA player is Jimmy Butler.
Oh, I am a fan of Jimmy Butler. I don't like the Heat for the same reason I don't like this. Well, not say the Celtics. The same reason I don't like the Giants, Devils, Rangers, Bruins, because you just don't like their teams because they are your rival.
Right, exactly.
And when we played them in the playoffs, you kind of build that like rivalry.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler is a freak.
That game, that 55-point game, was just. I was watching it live. I don't know if you're watching it live.
I watched some of it because I saw through Twitter that it was a big deal.
I was watching it live and just honestly going like, no way.
Yeah.
And every single time it was yes way.
It wasn't that game, but it was the elimination game that they beat the Bucks when he forced it into overtime and he got the pass and he's falling backwards. I was just like, really,
dude? I'm telling you, the biggest supporter of getting rid of the play-in would have been the Bucks.
Yeah,
because the Heat got in by play-in and then beat the Bucks.
Got really hot. Got really hot.
That was just like unbelievable. Yeah. Which, by the way, did you hear what Giannis said to the reporter?
Yeah, about a failure.
I was like, that's genius. Way to go, Giannis. He's a very likable dude.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got some like intelligence to him that's like he doesn't really hold himself above anyone else.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
And if you didn't hear what he said, basically the reporter said, was this season a failure? And I can't remember exactly how he worded it or what he compared it to, but essentially he said, so if every time you don't win,
he said about a reporter, he said, you asked me that same question last year. He's like, did you get a promotion in that span?
Yeah.
So was this year a failure because you didn't move up?
Yeah. He said there are no failures, there is learning.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. But it was very wise.
It was wise.
And I was like, nice.
To be fair, did kind of fail because you didn't win. But in sports is much clearer failure.
I think.
But I understand his point, and I'm all for his point because I hate reporters and their stupid questions.
Whether it's true or not, it's all about mindset.
Yes, he answered it very truthfully.
It's all about mindset. Yeah. So very honestly. So if you don't win, do you fail?
Semantically,
in the most dumbed down version, yes. But it's all about mental. If you tell yourself that you failed, then that's probably the worst way to think of it. But no, I think he handled it really well.
I think to get asked that question is dumb.
I know. Like, what do you think he's going to say?
What do you think he's going to say?
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like it doesn't really make sense.
So I have two questions right in a row.
Okay, well you can ask both of them.
Okay, the first one is, who are you rooting for in the NBA?
Sixers.
Avi, the Sixers.
Okay, so are we talking?
I'm rooting the Sixers.
On the worst case scenario,
Sixers are eliminated because the Flyers are in the playoffs. So I was thinking, I'll do the who you root for in each side. Besides Sixers, if the Sixers lose this round, are you rooting for the Celtics?
No, no, I despise the Celtics.
Yeah,
I have a lot of respect for Tatum, and I think he's really good, but I despise the Celtics.
Yeah.
If the Nuggets didn't have Jokic, probably cheer for the Nuggets. But the whole rivalry between...
Could you find yourself rooting for the Lakers?
I mean, I like LeBron. I'm a LeBron fan. Yeah. But I don't like...
Is it kind of like a rooting for an individual?
I don't know, because if the Lakers won, I'd be like, that's cool, because they were kind of bad all season and then got in through the play-in. And like, again, I am not a fan of the Sixers rivals. But to root for Jimmy Butler to win, like if Jimmy Butler if everyone else got traded and it was just Jimmy Butler, because whoever,
honestly, if you just put him on a different team,
like I'm not absolutely opposed to Jimmy Butler getting a ring.
You can't even say the Heat.
In the Heat losing.
Right.
But I don't know. Just I would have to go at this point. I have to say someone out of the West, and I don't like Jokic strictly because he's Embiid's biggest rival as far as individual players go. So I would have to say the Nuggets, because they're just
Nuggies.
Why not?
Right.
But
the Nuggets.
Who are the Nuggets playing? The Suns? I mean, the Suns kind of just became like...
Because Kevin Durant's on the team.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't really... You should have won when you played the...
Rockets.
No, Celtics.
Oh yeah.
Or no,
The Bucks.
Bucks. Like you should have won then, and I was rooting for the. You know what's funny though is I was rooting for the Suns, and then halfway through the series, I'm like, I'm actually like I want the Bucks to win, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Which now going back, I would have rooted for the Bucks from the get go.
Right.
But to answer your question, if I absolutely have to, I would say Nuggets just because I would want someone out of the West because I can't choose our rival, but I would not hate if Jimmy Butler got a ring because he is unbelievably deserving of it.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, no teams.
That was a long-winded way of saying no one.
But what I would say, whoever wins out of the Celtics and Sixers, which is that's actually one of my topic points. Sixers very unsure of final outcome.
Right.
Whoever wins out of this series, I believe strongly is going to win the East because I like just Jimmy Butler by himself can't.
Yeah.
I mean, almost, but can't win the series, and I don't think the Knicks or the Heat are good enough to beat the Celtics or the Sixers.
Right. Okay, NHL player. I'll go for the. I don't know in the NBA.
I was gonna say who do
I
you
like
want
Jimmy
to
Butler,
win?
but I don't want to root for the Heat because I don't want to be like, oh, that guy's rooting for the. But I like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
So I will say I like.
It's hard not to have respect for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I really like Jimmy Butler. So I mean, other than that,
yeah,
the Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Yeah.
What about in the NHL?
The NHL. I want. Here's my thing. I'm rooting for the Hurricanes, but here's what I will say: I would love for McDavid to win a cup because in so many sports, the best players are on these teams that never win. For Shohei, for Trout, and for Shohei and for Trout,
and for Trout
and Shohei,
right?
Win a cup, McDavid, because you're the best player in the NHL. You should have a cup already. Because he is the Patrick Mahomes of the NHL. He is the most marketable star. Yeah. He is the most he is the best player in hockey. Like
it would do a lot for the league.
Yes, he needs to win a cup. I am rooting for the Hurricanes because I like Rob Brendamore because he's an ex-Flyer. Shane Gostisbehere's on the team. I just like the Hurricanes as a team. The Panthers, I don't know. That's like if you're going to be in Florida and win a cup, you should just be Tampa.
That's a good point. That's hard to argue.
I will never root for Toronto. Toronto is the Cowboys of hockey. You can never convince me otherwise.
Explain.
They have the most arrogant fans and haven't won anything
really?
in years. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Arrogant
you know
fans?
how Texas is like the capital of football? Like Texas is football.
Right.
Right. That's Toronto. Toronto is the capital of hockey. So everyone's like, yeah, we're the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have the best because we're Toronto. That's the way. It's the same exact.
So it's like kind of like
they're also super
entitled.
Yes.
Is that the word?
Entitled. Yes.
Okay.
Like boo-hoo, I haven't gotten out of the first round in 19 years. Well, you suck. That's why.
Oh, that makes
you
sense.
have all the talent and you never get anywhere. So I mean, this year is their best shot because they're out of the first round.
See,
they're already down 1 to the Panthers.
Here's the thing: being a non-hockey follower during the regular season, I see the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm like, sure, I'll root for them.
Yeah, I mean,
and seeing that they haven't made it in forever.
It's the same thing though. It's like the Cowboys. Oh, they haven't won a Super Bowl in forever. I feel like if you went into football and you didn't really know about football, you're like, oh, they always seem to like lose in the, you know what I mean? But knowing what you know about the Cowboys.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are a direct rival of the Eagles.
Yeah, the Cowboys are a direct rival of everybody because of their fans, right? You would say everybody hates Cowboys fans.
The Cowboys kind of did that to themselves too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So that's the Maple Leafs too.
That's the Maple Leafs.
But they're not a rival of the Flyers.
Yes, they are.
They are?
Because they're a rivalry of hockey. To me, they are. This. I just hate Toronto.
I'd be interested.
I just feel like they're just the most entitled fans, and they're just like. I just think because people like aren't as into hockey around us. But I would say if you're a hockey fan of any other team, you're not a fan of Toronto.
Okay,
I would say that.
That makes sense.
I feel like that.
I can understand that because of the location thing.
Yeah,
I just
think
that.
It's mostly because of their fans. Honestly.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I would say I was.
But like I'm not opposed to anyone in the West winning it.
Yeah, I don't really care about
like
the West.
that. It's kind of like that with every sport.
I don't think the West is going to win it.
Like if it's not our team, it's just don't be in the East.
If Edmonton doesn't win it, I don't see any team in the East, the West really
Why?
I don't know. I just don't.
Who can they not beat?
It's Dallas. It's
Who do they
Dallas
have?
and Seattle.
Who do the
Pavelski
Stars
and
have?
Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. Speaking of underachieving with great stars.
I was gonna say the Stars are
Yeah,
probably the biggest example of that in the last however many years.
Pavelski is probably the best player on the team. Seguin is really good, and Ben's really good. They're just not, like you said about the Aaron Fox. They're just not like superstar level.
Mm-hmm.
And their goaltending's kind of shaky. But I would say, who else is out of the West? I mean, it's the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights are a scary team. They're very loaded. Yeah, and Seattle. But Seattle,
Is the undeserved hate for the Golden Knights over yet?
kind of, because they
Gonna
kind of
say
they.
it didn't
You
really
know what
ever
it
make
was?
sense.
You know what it was? It was they were so boisterous about it.
But
We're
you have
the
to
new
be.
team.
But
I agreed.
But you have to
100%
be
agreed.
for marketing.
Agreed, 100%, and that's fine. I just hated them.
You have to get more people into
absolutely.
hockey somehow.
I didn't mind it that much. I didn't care.
Oh my
that much.
gosh,
It's
the
just like,
first year in the playoffs,
it was
their
horrible.
intro lasted like 45
minutes.
I'm like,
And it was
we
like,
get
okay,
it.
come on. And then
Get it, you're a new team.
yeah, but
Settle
they're
down.
loaded. They're back. They're reloaded, and I like them. They're all right.
I was gonna say I don't have any issue with them.
The Kraken are the new team. So
yeah.
it's like
You just needed a new team after that.
Exactly.
And then the Golden Knights are like scot-free. But
Exactly.
unfortunately, there's probably not going to be another new team for a while.
exactly.
So the Kraken.
So I
are
would say
kinda
Hurricanes and out of the West, probably Edmonton.
screwed. Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed.
Actually, I'm going
Like
to
I
reverse
said.
what I said. I think Edmonton or Vegas win the cup. Thinking about it now, because they have really strong teams. But Carolina is really strong too. So with
I
Boston
haven't
gone,
watched an ounce of the Carolina series.
Boston was my pick.
Oh, nothing made me happier.
Oh my gosh! It
Listen,
was so good. It
Being
was so good.
being
Carter
a
Verhaeghe, you're my guy.
hardcore Flyers fan.
Yeah.
From ages, I mean, as young as you can get into hockey to basically until they fell off.
Yeah.
It was prime time to dislike Boston.
Yes.
And man, did we dislike Boston.
But Boston I will say gave birth to the greatest music for playoff games of all time. Whoa. Like that
Yeah.
Boston started the
Yeah.
Boston Bruins started that.
Oh my gosh, in the series that we played against them, they'd
Yes.
score and it'd just be like,
You'd hate yourself,
the
but you'd be
TV.
like, frick, this song
throw
is
the
catchy.
TV out the window.
And they
I
were down
hate it.
3-0, and the Panthers were down 3-1. They blew a 3-1 lead. It was amazing.
Basically, Boston lost and we're happy about it.
Exactly. Carter Verhaeghe, old Tampa guy. He's really good.
Did you know that Bryce Harper's back?
Oh, snap. That's kind of part of mine.
Because he is.
He is back.
He had an excellent return.
He did. A double last night.
0 for 4.
He did, yeah, but
No, I was talking about the first game.
yeah, the first game was rough. But
as
he
to
had
be
a-
expected.
yeah.
Settle down.
But then he came back this game 2 after being the quickest to come back in baseball history from Tommy Johns and hits a double to lead off, and then scores the game tying run. Like
Bryce is back.
Bryce is back. But my topic for the Phillies involving the Phillies are like
All over the place.
they're just so like, what is
Like,
the deal?
make up your mind.
They're up and down. What do you want? Like, just pitch good.
It's funny because
good.
it makes me think that maybe they were just needed Bryce to come back to
Maybe.
feel like they weren't waiting on anything.
Yeah, but like they were rolling though.
But it's odd because he doesn't have any effect on the pitching. Again, I said this in our episode, Phillies are back, which by the way, that episode of ours
Yeah.
is trending.
Very good.
Not like on Instagram, not like on
Not anywhere
YouTube
where it
trending,
matters.
but on our channel,
Yeah.
it's doing very well.
Yeah.
I said it there. Why is it always the pitching?
I don't know.
And it just is.
And guess what? Zach Eflin is away, and he's unbelievable. He's doing great. So it's like, okay, whatever, fine.
Yep.
I don't care. I'm not hurt.
Speaking of the
They
Phillies,
just need to work on their pitching.
speaking of the Phillies, the 10 o'clock games are. But
What are we doing?
why? I don't.
I hate when it's the same with the
deal
playoffs.
with the playoffs.
Oh my gosh!
How am I supposed to watch the game? I'm falling asleep before, like when LeBron's like doing his free throws at practice pregame. They still have the music playing in the stadium, and I'm like falling asleep. Like, all right, let's get the tip off. Just get the tip off, and you'll make it through the first quarter.
And it's like, I don't know if it's how it is in the NBA, but the NHL, if you say you're starting at 10 o'clock, you're starting at 10:45.
No, it's not like that in the NBA.
It is that way. Like it is.
I mean, in the
I don't
NBA,
know what
it's
it
like
is.
10 minutes
if you
later,
say,
I would say,
if you say 10 o'clock, start the game at 10 o'clock,
or
10:10,
or tell us 9:45,
right?
And then like we'll be like, all right, well, it's gonna start at 10. Or just say, hey, we're gonna have We're gonna have an hour and a half of intros. So really, you could tune in this time.
A half hour, legitimately a half hour.
You know what? You know who's really good, excellent at
The
starting
NFL.
on time. The NFL. Literally, there's times when the guy when his leg, when the opening kickoff, his leg is like this, right? And it's 12:59, and then you can see the clock ticking, and it's like 57, 58, 59
the
seconds.
Fabric touches
the
ball.
His laces actually
up.
loose.
They're like,
and it flings like this, and then it nicks the front of the thread on the football, and then his shoe comes.
The first piece of grass is nicked from the ball getting
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Done.
And then
Ready.
it's off.
And
Every
off.
single time.
Yeah.
Whether that's Monday night football, Thursday night football, which my gosh, I already miss the best sport to watch ever. Anyway, the NFL is excellent at starting on time.
Yes.
And the NBA, I would say, is like 10, 15 minutes.
The MLB is pretty much
depends.
exact the same.
It depends.
It's usually like right on time too.
Yeah.
The NHL is the worst with it.
Yeah.
It's
like, why? I don't know why you can't
understand.
I don't know why you can't just start your like do this stuff earlier.
Yeah.
If you're always late, do this stuff earlier.
Yeah.
You might be able to like hone in on this a little bit. Like maybe give your
Just start
2
earlier
cents on this.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, the 10 o'clock games need to go.
Yeah. I have two. Do you have a lot of topics
Nope,
left?
that's it.
Okay, I have two topics that I really, really want to touch
Go
on. Do you
for
mind
it.
this one
I
being a
will.
little longer? Okay.
We're still doing our outro.
So actually, there's three.
Go for it. Better.
Real quick, ranking the four playoffs of the main sports.
Explain.
Like, what is your favorite to watch in order? Of the four sports: hockey, baseball, football, and basketball.
I mean, NFL. It's got to be because it's the same reason I would say NFL regular season is the best because the games mean a lot, but literally in the NFL, it's one game.
Yeah.
So I would say the NFL. And then, I mean, after experiencing the Phillies,
You're gonna be shocked by mine.
Last year, it's like last year's Phillies playoffs. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But in general, I would honestly say that NBA and NHL are probably tied. Now, here's the deal: the beginning of the games is what would sway me. So I would choose NBA because I'm more of an NBA fan. I like basketball, so I would choose NBA for that. But if we're saying like both games are going into overtime and both games are going to be intense, I don't know that I'd be able to choose. But the NHL has the edge because, no pun intended,
NHL has the late game
because it's just one goal and it's over, and
I
everyone
think that's
just goes
the same
nuts.
For me, why it's over the NFL. For me,
the NHL just because of overtime.
Because I think the storylines that build up over a 7-game series, and then Game 7 overtime or Game 6 overtime, where everything's on the line and it's still
one goal.
It's and in front of the net in Panthers in Boston, and it's just frantic in front of the net. Just I don't think there's a better feeling of just like, you know what I mean.
But like here's how I can explain it, and here's how I could make my final decision is. If you said, okay, it's not going into overtime, one team is just going to win.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to watch NBA.
Yeah, right.
If it's going to be a very close game, I'm going to watch NBA.
Right.
If it's going into overtime or say there's a good chance it's going to go into overtime, there's no question it's got to be NHL.
Right.
For that reason, that it's
the late game.
I mean, the one
NHL
goal winning it all is just the best, dude.
Yeah.
Like Toronto who was it that went into Game 7 overtime? Toronto?
No, Panthers.
I was gonna say them.
Panthers in Boston.
Oh my gosh, like that was awesome.
Yeah, I know.
And it was just like
even though Toronto for Game 6, they have so much on the line for that team. And then
that's true.
John Tavares scored,
situation.
and it's so good. And you're watching the videos of people celebrating, like, I would say that the late game, I would have to put the NHL, but like, I mean, the MLB. The thing with the MLB is I don't care about too much about. I do care about the MLB playoffs, but when the Phillies aren't in it, I don't care as much. I would put the Phillies playoffs above everything.
1,000%.
Red October
1,000%.
over everything. Maybe except for NHL, maybe Flyers.
If you're guaranteed that excitement,
right?
Like it's the same thing that I said about NBA or NHL,
right?
Like if you're guaranteed that excitement, then it's like no question,
right? Exactly.
But in terms of just kind of like finalizing it, I think NFL one game that's it just matters so much.
Yeah,
that one game.
For an example of insane playoff game, like I mean, obviously people probably, but like the Bills and Chiefs game 2 years ago,
gosh,
last year, and then Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl this year was insane, even though they lost, but was insane. Yeah, so I'd say that would. So I guess that's the question then. That's what makes a playoff. That was my second question. Was what makes a playoff game like so memorable? And it's like
what makes it?
Yeah, it's like that last minute heroics usually, or like a monster performance, say Jimmy Butler,
or in the case of the Chiefs and
Bryce
Bills,
Harper.
it's like it was just an amazing game, like
one
of the most amazing games.
It just went down to the wire.
Yes,
it just went down to the wire, or even just Harper's home run.
Yeah,
against the Padres.
The Padres.
It's just insanity. That's it's really just the storylines going through the playoffs. It's usually in the later rounds.
Yeah.
But that just the stories, and it all just comes to a culmination of like one play needs to be made.
Yeah.
Who's going to make it, and where's it going to happen, and just that excitement. That's when it's like a blowout every time. It's like my issue with the NBA was for a while. It was just like
it can.
It's
be
like
a blowout.
Okay, well who's even going to face them and beat
100%. Totally. Because typically in the NBA, I would say most of the time, this year is unique.
Right.
Most of the time, the best teams end up winning.
There's a beast coming through. Yeah.
Most of the time, I would say the best teams end up winning. But
I mean, the NHL, had Kevin Durant and all these guys on the same, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson,
like that's
Draymond
so
at the
awesome.
time.
Like the NHL, like the Panthers beating the
Boston Bruins. They just broke the record for the most wins in a season.
And I don't even follow hockey year round, and I'm completely locked in on the NHL playoffs.
Like I mean,
so far
the 1 year the Tampa won the President's Trophy was so dominant.
Yeah,
and the Blue Jackets barely got in the playoffs, and they swept them.
Yeah,
they swept them. Like that's just how volatile. Like that's just how crazy the NHL playoffs can be.
Yeah.
The MLB playoffs. I mean, when the Rays went to the World Series a few years ago, Randy Arozarena hit that. Or no, it wasn't Brett Phillips hit that walk off and the missed throws and everything. That was insane. I remember watching that with my brother, just going insane.
That was really late, and I remember you texting me about it.
Yeah, Arozarena like literally stopped coming around third and then started to go again, fell, and then get back up again and ran and got home. That. It was so insane.
The problem with the MLB is that it's just, unless it's the Phillies and unless it's like maybe the second round or whatever, or maybe the first round, you're not really locked in. We were last year because
for the Phillies.
Yeah, it was just like
I didn't watch.
It's forever since they got in.
Yeah,
so it's
watch
like
a ton of playoffs.
We're gonna be locked in. But I mean, anything can happen in NHL to where it will cause it to be just a whole new game.
Yep. NFL's usually the better team usually wins, but it is any given Sunday. You know what I mean?
The better teams are playing each other.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's
exactly.
That usually ends up working itself out to where it's going to be a good game.
I just think the NHL is just such a battle of wills and just such a just like a march to get to the end. I think
Totally.
I think
I
honestly
agree.
it's just the toughest to get through.
Yeah. And it's
Honestly.
like any little thing, like I forget what game it was, but it could have, I forget what, man, this is going to be a very bland comment, but I forget
need to
what the
add some
situation
cinnamon.
was, but I know it was really important.
Uh-huh.
Basically, the guy shot it and it hit the goalie's the very
It was Pasternak in
like the
in overtime.
the smallest part of his stick
Of Bobrovsky,
And, like,
yeah.
everyone's just like going about their day after that, and I'm like thinking like, oh my gosh, that literally
That's how close it was to winning.
Literally, that could have been it.
Yeah, they could have won,
And it's
and
just
Boston
like,
could have
oh, that's
beat
the way
the
it
Panthers.
is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd be losing so much sleep
I
over
know.
something like
I
that.
know. That was that was insane. Pasternak had a beautiful shot. It was going in,
Yeah.
and then just the
totally.
knob of the stick
Totally.
fluttered it away.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just insane. My last comment, and this might be a short one. This is going to be more of like a dive deep kind of a thing, or it's going to be a short one. Did you see Walter Franco's play on the Rays just recently? I think it was 2 nights ago.
I did not.
He got a ground ball.
Are we gonna?
Flipped it
am
up
I
in
gonna
the-
Google it while you?
He flipped it up in the air.
Walter Franco.
Walder Franco. Walder. Walder. Franco.
Okay.
He's on the Rays, right? He gets the ball, gets it out of his glove, flips it up in the air, grabs it, and throws it to first for the final out. Or an out. I don't know
Okay,
if it's
here
the
we
final
go.
one. I don't know if you found the worst video of all time, but it might be up there as one of the
I was
worst.
gonna say, why is it skipping like a beast?
I don't know.
right
I think
now?
they're just trying to show it to you.
Walter
just look-
Franco.
Yeah. Watch.
Okay.
Okay, so he gets it, does that, and throws the guy out. Now, picture you're an old white man.
Okay.
What pisses you off
Instantly
about that play?
hate it.
Exactly.
No, but I
As
actually think
you-
that's kind of sick.
It's sick, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
like you have to have.
The-
oh my gosh, if you obviously
If you screw it up.
if you screw that up, you're getting
You're an
benched
idiot.
for sure.
But here's the issue I have. Is it a smart baseball play? Not really.
No.
Because of the things that could go wrong.
Totally.
But if you're not an old geezer or one of these guys that goes, yeah, but what if my kid tries to try that? Then tell your kid not to and be a parent, you freaking dumb bunny.
Right.
If you want to watch
That's
it.
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. He flips it like he's pimping out a ground. Like it's a good play. He makes a good play on it. What if a batter's allowed to bat flip, a pitcher's allowed to show aggression after a strikeout, which you should.
That's
A fielder's
really
allowed
clean,
to
I
be
would
like,
do
hey,
have to
look,
say.
look at me. I have no issue with it. Why are people not allowed to have fun when they play sports?
Jordy, come here.
If your son is so skilled or your daughter is so skilled at a sport, hopefully they have fun doing it. Hopefully they have a good time doing it. You know what I mean?
I think
Why do you hate that?
At some point, you gotta like enjoy yourself. It's the same thing with people hating on NFL players for getting excited after a touchdown. It's
Yeah.
like, you know how hard it is to score a touchdown
Right.
in the NFL?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be excited.
I get in certain circumstances, like you're down a ton or you're up a ton and you're going, you know what I mean? You're freaking out about it. But
Yeah.
like even that, like who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Like you can hate it. You'd
Totally.
be like, oh, what the heck? If he's not on your team, that's fair. But like to be like, oh, that's unnecessary and not good for our game. What are you talking about?
It is unnecessary.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And if you
So are sports.
Listen, I think there's
Sports in
like,
general are unnecessary.
there's like levels to it. Like, I mean, if I score a touchdown in the NFL, like, there's no way I'm just like, okay.
Dude,
here's
well,
one.
did
I'm
you
gonna-
see the play in the minor
I can be
leagues?
excited because that's
Yeah.
a
Did you see the play in the
major
minor
achievement.
leagues? A guy got a strikeout. The pitcher got a strikeout, and he goes off because it was like a fastball.
Yeah.
Blows it by him. The guy swings and misses.
I saw it.
And then the tosses him.
Yeah.
So the guy, his teammate, comes up the next inning and hits a 3-run bomb.
Yeah.
And just
I
he
saw
walks
that,
around the
yeah.
bases completely straight faced.
Was it Miami? It might have been Miami.
Well,
Or
what? No, it was
the
the minor
Florida-
leagues.
It
was the minor
I
leagues.
thought it was college. It was like an orange
Or it
team,
might have
I
been
think.
college. Yeah, it was orange. It might have been college, but it
I
was.
thought it was the Gators.
Might
Like
have been.
the
Yeah.
Florida.
Might have
Florida.
been. I like that's exactly
No,
what it
I
is.
did
Listen,
see that.
when you
That
strike
was
a guy out,
atrocious.
you strike a guy out, and you want to show emotion, go for it. You know what? The players are gonna go, screw that guy. I'm gonna hit a bomb off of him.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista or not Dave Bautista, Jose Bautista.
Yeah, the guy that got
on Toronto.
Yeah,
when he hits that home run, just stands there and goes, boom. Oh, it's
like
magic.
That literally caused another dude to punch him in the face.
In the face. But it was magic. That moment is just in infamy. Just the bat spike from Rhys Hoskins. It's just pure emotion of like, And if you want to throw a ball at his head because you're a petty little baby, go throw a ball at his head. But guess what? When you want to celebrate, when you have a beauty of a strikeout, when you throw a beautiful curveball and they go fishing for it, I better not see you celebrating. Like it's just ridiculous.
I think it's
let them play.
People either hate it or they don't mind it. I don't really think there's like, all right, well, you can do this, but don't do this.
There are people that do that though. There are. Well, I'm all for having fun in the game, but this is too much. Then you're not all for having fun in the game.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think that there's people that are just like, it's you either hate it or you don't really mind it, or I guess you could love it.
Exactly.
But for me, it's just like seeing a guy celebrate after a touchdown is like the best example that I can think of because there's a lot of people that hate on that.
Yeah.
Or like say pregame at a basketball game, it's like, what like,
why do you
if
care?
that helps them get, like even defensive backs in football,
right?
Like, of course they're gonna stand there and like, flex on the guy because it gets them mentally prepared to go to the next play. Like especially defensive backs because like they have arguably the hardest job in football.
Right.
So like if you're not confident.
Yeah.
Even if it's fake confidence.
Right.
Sometimes you need fake confidence, but if you don't have that, you're going to get you're going to get mauled.
And here's the thing, I don't love that when they do that and it's like overthrown like 80 miles over the head. But here's the thing though. I don't want them to not do it.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. That's what they want to do. Like why do you care so much about their like it's these schlubs sitting on a couch that are like drinking a beer and having chips just like, all over their shirt and just like
just go give the ref the ball.
Yeah, like oh, what are you doing? Or it's an old man in a suit sitting at a desk going, I just didn't like that. I just don't think that's necessary.
I just didn't like that.
Like
I don't know. I'm all for the players having fun, however it is.
You know what?
And I'm gonna if we're playing Dallas and their defensive back goes and flexes on Devontae Smith,
right?
Because he's like had nothing to do with the play.
Right. I'm gonna make fun of it.
Of course, I'm gonna make fun of it.
If Walter Franco flips the ball to himself, throws it 5 miles over the first baseman's head, I'm gonna laugh like crap because it's funny.
Yeah, but
and that's
I don't know.
Stupid
it's
play.
just like,
but if you're having fun, and by the way, the race,
especially baseball,
and the race, what are they like 15-6 on the year?
Yeah.
You're allowed to do whatever you want if you're dominating the league the way the Rays are.
Oh no, I'm all for players having fun.
Agreed.
So sue me, but don't
actually.
That's I don't have that much
the
money.
actual. Yeah, you won't get much. That'll be the end of our show.
Thank you for watching
so much.
episode 26.
We're
Do
at
we
like-
want to do like
we're
the
at hour
intro
15?
music as the outro music?
Well,
Can we
have
do that?
other music.
Do we? I don't know
have-
that we do have other music. This is our intro that we talk in, so you can't use this one.
That's true.
That was one we made when we first got it. But thank you for watching episode 26
Thank you so much
of the
for
Everyman
watching.
Guys. We're excited
really
for the new
appreciate it.
format because
We are.
the deal is we get to do more skits.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Also, you were saying but we just want to wait for this to run out and then do it again. But what you were saying before about
I know exactly what you're talking about.
something about what was it?
The main thing was thank you for watching Everyman Guys. That makes up for the last one that was actually good.
That was actually good. Oh man.